poor people in developing countries around the world, where they don't have living wages, where they don't have protection for our air and our environment. I tell you, out in rural America, people are asking a question. If it's mining now, what's next? Is it agriculture? Guess what? We got herbicides, we got fungicides, we got rodenticides, we got pesticides, we got neonicotinoids, we have fertilizers, we have a whole host of challenges out there to our water and our environment. That is a fact of life. Are we going to come out and call for a banning of agriculture? I hope the hell not. I've had some people say, well, yeah, we should all go back to an indigenous lifestyle. I remind them that's a life expectancy of about 27. It doesn't work well if you have to live in a major metropolitan area. Well, let me be clear. The Democratic Farmer Labor Party has always stood strongly in support of the environment. We're the ones who led the charge establishing the PCA. We're the ones who led the charge establishing the EPA. In my generation, I know there's a bunch of you out here down here today who saw a time when the rivers were running sewers, who saw a time when the lakes were catching on fire, who saw a time when the exhaust from our emissions from our energy companies and from our automobiles were creating acid rain and destroying our forests and destroying our lakes. And we led the charge, we led the fight at every level, giving citizens the right to sue, establishing the policies and the regulations to protect our air. Give us air we can breathe. Give us water we can drink. We always led that charge, but you know what? We also led the charge for jobs with living wages. And in case you don't know it, it was the 1948 election. If you think elections don't matter, we're the steel workers. That's right. Steel workers of the iron range won the right to negotiate for pensions and health care and benefits. I got to tell you, the narrative back in that day was, oh, we can't have all these environmental rules. We cannot have all these environmental regulations. Why? Well, because nobody will be able to do business. And we won't have any more jobs in America. And some of us had the courage to stand up then, and the Rangers were leading the way, starting with my neighbor, Judge Ward, who stopped the dumping of the taconite tailings in Lake Superior. The fact is, we as a party had the courage to stand up then, and we have to have the courage to stand up now, again, to protect those jobs of the working men and women, not just in the urban areas, but in the rural areas, to protect our way of life and do it in a way that absolutely protects and preserves our environment, and that's what this is all about. And the good news is, we do have the science, we do have the technologies, we do have the political will to do both again and to protect our environment. And guess what? Just like in the 70s, when they thought it was going to stop the creation of good jobs, the environmental industry created more jobs than any other sector of our economy. And once again, as we lead the fight to stop climate change, we are going to lead the fight again in preserving our species here on Earth and creating good jobs in the process. So my message is simple. Let us find the common ground here that unites us. Let us stand together as we have in the past. Let us stand up for the good paying jobs of working men and women in this country, of all the sectors of our economy, and let us stand firm in support of our environment in the process. And let's focus on those issues that unite us. Clearly, climate change is perhaps greatest issue of our time. We are united on that. Let us stand for that. Let us commit ourselves to the alternative energies and fuels that stop the carbon emissions that threaten our species. We're united on that. Let's remain so. Let us stand for fair trade that creates living jobs. Stop the exploitation of poor people. Bring them up to our standard, not take ourselves down to their standard. We are united on that. Let us stand behind our unions, who every step of the way in our progress have led the charge for good paying jobs with living wages and pensions and benefits. Let us get behind the efforts to rebuild our infrastructure, the bridges that are falling down, the roads that are crumbling, the rails that are forcing the trains off the track, the water systems that are polluting the minds and destroying the brains of our children, and in the process, not only create millions of good-paying jobs, create better, more livable communities, and an environment for more business and more job creation. That unites us. That's who we are. That's what we are all about. And let's put an end to these endless wars of choice that are counterproductive, are destroying and responsible for unwanted destruction of human life and our environment. And let's take those monies, those brains, that energy, and put them into human development. Let's invest that in people, education. And let's defeat Wall Street's interest in privatizing Social Security. And last but not least, let us defeat the Supreme Court decision that is polluting our politics, is polluting our economy, is at the heart of what's responsible for the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, the middle class getting crushed. Let us reverse Citizens United. Most importantly, let's remember to focus on all of these great issues and others I haven't had time to mention here today. Let us focus on the issues that unite us. That's right, that unite us, that bring us together, that enable us to win elections, enable us to continue the march toward the great progress that we have led in this nation and in the world. And let us never forget where we came from and who the hell we're fighting for. Thank you.